Hello, hello. My name is Neil, National Admissions Manager with Verto Education, and I am joined today by Ann Stucki. Ann, thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Ann is a college counselor at Wasatch Academy in Utah. She's been a huge supporter of Verto Education. I think we have about five of her students enrolled for fall 24. So this is a great opportunity for us to get to know Anne, get to know about her relationship with Verto, and really what excites you about, having some students, including a very special student, joining us in the fall. So let's go ahead and dive in.
Yeah.
Anne, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your background? How long have you been working in college counseling and just sort of your own professional journey with that?
Yeah. So I'm in Utah. I was born in Utah, but I claim the Midwest. I grew up in Chicago. I went to high school in Minnesota. And I've been fortunate to I've had travel opportunities from very young ages. Right after high school graduation, like literally 3 days after graduation, I took off and spent that whole summer working in Costa Rica. And I spent my summers in college working in Latin America. I worked with a traveling dentist one summer that was totally amazing. I did community sanitation projects, housing for teachers, and yeah, that's how I spent my summers in college. I also, in my early 20s, I spent 18 months living in Argentina. Um, I love Latin America. My mom was born in Chile, actually, but my undergraduate was at Brigham Young University, and I studied sociocultural anthropology. And I even taught an intercultural communications class for anthropology for a few years about South America. In between my undergraduate and my graduate degree, I did 2 years of AmeriCorps, speaking Spanish. I worked in Utah working with medically underserved populations, and then my AmeriCorps educational grant paid for my master's of social work at the University of Utah. And once I was married with young kids, I also was doing a lot of traveling. When I'm married to an opera singer, and the way that life works is it's gig to gig. And when our oldest child was 2 months old, we hit the road, and we would be gone typically 9 to 10 months out of the year for 6 years. We were all over Europe, Poland, France, the United Kingdom. We were in Mexico City. We were in Israel. We were in Japan and Canada, and all over the United States. So yeah, that was amazing and insane all at the same time because we were doing it with children. But I came to college counseling in 2017. We moved to central Utah, and there's this great school where I work called Wasatch Academy. It's the longest continuously running high school in Utah. We go back to 1875, and it's an international boarding school. We have students from all over the world and all over the United States, and it's been really fun. I love helping students make connections. And with my social work background, I call college counseling happy social work because we're looking at hopes and dreams and possibilities. So
Thank you for sharing that. And I have to say, I always think of myself as someone that's well traveled, but you have some amazing experience that puts my own to shame. So I really appreciate you sharing that. That's amazing. You also participated in our counselor fly-in in Florence, Italy. Is that right?
yes, which is
So
amazing.
you got to see some of the nuts and bolts of Verto programming. You got to see it, on the ground. But if I can, back up a little bit and just ask you, how did you hear about Verto? Uh, and also, what were your initial impressions when you heard about this crazy thing called first year abroad?
So I was curious. I went back through my emails, and I think I found Verto online. I had a student in 2018 who was looking to study in Spain, actually. And I found an email from early March of 2018 that I was like, hey, you need to look at this Verto program. And I think from finding it online, I then connected with the Verto team in the 2019 NACAC. I think that was Louisville. Um, And I was just like, hey, I've heard about you guys. I got on the email list, and I've been suggesting to students for a few years. I'm like, just try it. Why not? What do we have to lose? But seeing the Italy campus, made me an even bigger fan to see kind of the support teams that are in place to help students, and to help my own son. I'm also the parent of a high school senior who we have signed up for Verto because I'm so excited, and I feel really confident as a parent also, knowing that there are structures in place to help him be successful and to have a good experience. So
That's awesome. If I can just ask a further question, when you talk about some of the structures that are in place to support students, Verto students that we have in our various locations, were there any that stood out to you during your time in Florence?
So, well, I mean, my understanding, there's a care team that is kind of oversees their academics. There's another care team to make sure that their living situation is going well for them. They're living in another country. I mean, that's pretty intense as an 18-year-old. But I was just really impressed that they're not just like thrown in and expected to figure it all out themselves, but they have a structure for them to be successful.
Considering that you have been interacting with us since 2018, we're a fairly young organization. We might call you an early adopter here, but where are some of the other things that made you consider it for your current students, including your son Colin, for this upcoming academic year?
Oh, yeah, I feel like in the last few years, students are looking for more gap year opportunities. And so, I'm like, well, why not have a gap year where you're also earning credit, and just, looking at just learning about the world. And I just feel like, for my own son also, he's traveled extensively. He spent extended time in about 10 countries, but it's before he remembers. So I'm excited for him to have a turn now and just go figure some things out, like I was able to as a young person, as an 18-year-old, when I started working internationally. I'm excited for my son and for my students to just see what's open to them.
Through Verto programming, how does what we offer at Verto align with the goals and aspirations of students that you work with?
I have a current past student who's doing the Spain program. I've loved following her journey, and it looks like it's still warm in Spain right now. That's also me. I was telling you, I speak Spanish. I've spent a lot of time in Latin America, but I haven't gotten to Spain yet. So I've been horribly jealous of her experience. But her, thinking back to when she was still with us at high school, her family was thrilled also that she would be in an environment where she's earning credit, where she's supported, and they were just so happy for her to get this time kind of away, but still moving towards her goals. So I've been trying to be like, tell me now, tell me at the end of your program. I want more information, but I'll catch up with her soon, I'm sure. So
yes, definitely in Spain, you can still find some warm weather in December. You spend time in South America, and one thing we like to tell our Argentina students for the fall, like, oh, hey, it's actually their spring over there. So yeah. You have the dual perspective of being both on the college counseling side of things, but also as the parent of a future Verto student. So what might be some advice that you would give to either a counselor considering this for their student or a parent considering this for their child, advice around a study abroad program for their first year of college?
Advice what I get, I keep teasing my son. I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of sending you on this for my professional development because it's been really great for me to see the parent call and to see kind of from that side also. I feel like some parents are concerned about a gap year program where students might be kind of losing some academic momentum, and that's not the case here. For, again, my own son, I'm so excited to see what is going to open up for him, from having an international experience. And we're planning on him doing the Prague program, partially because my brother works in and out of Prague. So I'm like, Uncle Ted will be able to tell you some good restaurants to go to and things like that. But I'm excited for the connections.
As a person with a lot of global experience, working in a school that has a lot of international students, could you speak to sort of the impact of a global education through an experience like with Verto or just in general, on a student's college career and perhaps even beyond that?
I've been thinking a little bit about how, especially, it seems like now we're more fake connected, kind of, social media, constant news availability, and we need to make sure that connections are authentic and real and not just the fake. And that's what traveling has allowed me to do. It's broadened my perspective. It's so fun for me working at this high school where it is not uncommon where I'm in a meeting with students from Mali and Mexico and Spain and Italy, just all together. That helps us see things differently when we have personal interactions with individuals, so that we have the personal connection and not just the abstract kind of knowledge about people. One thing at Wasatch, in the new year, we have a multicultural celebration. We do this ethnic food court. It's just so fun for students to be able to learn from their classmates. And I feel like that's what Verto will do also. I mean, it's maybe a little embarrassing, but I want my child and my students to know that it's a small world. So
Absolutely.
And personal connections and real experiences over just kind of abstract ideas. So
Absolutely. And I think that really speaks to a growing desire. Of course, as you mentioned, we live in the internet age. There's social media. There's all kinds of ways to, in theory, get connected to folks. But I think one thing that we recognize at Verto is this desire for authentic connections. Connecting to a place, a people. Even within our own cohort, we have students from all over the United States. They're brought together in an international setting, so they get this sort of dual intercultural learning, right, with their peers from all over the U.S. and also the peers, the faculty, all the folks they will work with in the location that they're in as well. How has learning about Verto or learning about first year abroad, has that influenced your approach to college counseling when you're thinking about options for your students?
It's an incredible tool kind of in my toolbox. On Saturday, I was with one of my juniors who I have, we've kind of done more informal stuff with the juniors because I'm just finishing up with the senior class. I couldn't help myself but be like, hey, have you thought about doing a year internationally first? The positives outweigh the negatives. It's such a way to open up, again, your perspective. And I just kind of can't stop suggesting it to students. The application process is so streamlined and simple, and I believe in the care that you all show to these students. So,
and as you mentioned our application process. Again, you have this extra insight as a parent. What has been your experience sort of going through the admissions process? If you can kind of just summarize what's been like, working with maybe our senior admissions counselors. I'm not sure if you worked for our onboarding team yet, but they're also amazing. But maybe you could speak a little bit about that.
I've really appreciated it, and I hope that I don't drive Brad crazy, because I've questions where I'm like, well, what about this and this? And he's been always wonderful to answer my questions. But no, it's such a simple and streamlined process. I enjoyed being on the family call to kind of see how that works because I'd suggested it to students before, but I hadn't seen that part of it. And I think it just does a really good job to help families understand what the program is like and what they can expect for their students. I thought about one other senior recently who I was like, okay, maybe we should just get a Verto application in before fall, before winter break, just to have possibilities. So
yeah. No, you mentioned Brad. He's one of our amazing senior missions counselors, all of
Yeah.
whom are very dedicated to this idea of building that sense of global citizenship, that connection to the world abroad. As we're wrapping up here, what would you say to other high school, college counselors that might be considering recommending Verto to their students?
I mean, I'd say there's really nothing to lose. Again, such a simple and streamlined process, and you're giving your students the world potentially. Like I said, I'm just so excited for to see this process through with my own child. He will have things open up that have not even crossed his mind yet. He's stressed right now. He's like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. And I'm like, you don't need to know. So go and have these experiences that will help you make connections that you cannot even anticipate. I'm excited. I'm excited for him and for my other students. I keep track of students usually on Instagram. And so my own student who is in Spain, it's been just so incredible to see her kind of photo journey of her experience. And yeah, I'm excited. So
Yeah. It definitely sounds like a joy to live vicariously through through
love
those
it.
students as as they embark on these journeys. And any final thoughts, any final comments you'd like to share before we wrap up?
I've been so impressed. I've been really impressed with the program, and I was super fortunate to see the Italy campus, and seeing it in person really just brought it to life. To see the incredible space where the students can be, the support systems. Like they're not just being left to figure it out. There's lots of caring individuals who want to see them have a transformative experience.
Thank you for sharing that, Anne. And once again, we have Anne Stucki from Wasatch Academy. Thank you so much for joining us, for sharing some really valuable insights, both as a college counselor and as a parent. We're very excited to see Colin in fall 24, as well as the rest of your students. So again, Anne, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.